The restaurant went silent the moment the glass shattered on the floor. Rachel Spears stood frozen beside the table. Her hands were shaking. Her face was pale. Across from her, Seth Spears slowly leaned back in his chair like nothing inside him had broken at all. Then he said the words that ended her world. "I'm done pretending this marriage means anything." The woman beside him smiled like she had already won. Gabrielle Davin rested her hand on Seth's arm and looked at Rachel with no shame at all. Rachel's lips trembled. "Please, not here," she whispered. But Seth didn't even look away from her. "She can't give me a child," he said coldly. "What kind of wife is that supposed to be?" Whispers filled the room instantly. Rachel felt every eye on her. Every judgment. Every quiet laugh. Her chest tightened so hard she could barely breathe. And just when she thought she might collapse right there on the cold floor, a calm voice came from behind her. "Then she deserves someone better than you." Before we go deeper into this case, take a second and hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and let us know where you're watching from. Because the man who just stepped into Rachel's worst moment was about to change everything. But why would a stranger defend her like that? And what did he see in her pain that nobody else did? Rachel Spears used to believe love meant staying no matter what. For 8 years, she stayed beside Seth Spears through everything. Broken jobs. Late rent. Empty promises. Small apartments where the heater barely worked in winter. Rachel worked long shifts at a diner just to keep them afloat. She came home tired every night. But she still smiled at Seth. Still cooked for him. Still believed in him. At least she used to. Because love had once felt simple between them. They talked about having children one day. A home filled with laughter. A future they would build together. But life changed after the doctor's visit. Rachel could not have children. The news didn't just hurt her. It changed how Seth looked at her. At first, he pretended to be supportive. He held her hand in the hospital. Told her they would figure it out together. But slowly, everything shifted. He stopped touching her. Stopped laughing with her. Stopped coming home on time. Rachel noticed every detail. But she kept blaming herself. Maybe she just needed to try harder. Maybe he just needed time. One rainy afternoon, Rachel stood outside a pharmacy counting coins in her hand. She couldn't afford the medication anymore. Her eyes burned with frustration. She quietly put the box back and walked out into the rain. That's when she saw a little girl sitting alone near the store entrance. Small backpack. Tired eyes. Rachel walked over carefully. "Hey, sweetheart, are you lost?" The girl shook her head. "My dad forgot me for a minute." Rachel stayed with her. Minutes later, a man rushed back through the rain. Panicked. Breathing hard. When he saw the girl, relief washed over him. "Layla," he said softly. He pulled her into his arms instantly. Rachel stepped back quietly. But the man looked at her. "Thank you for staying with her." Rachel nodded. "It's okay." Something about him felt different. Calm. Grounded. But carrying pain too. His name was Zach Greger. A single dad. A CEO. But Rachel didn't know that yet. To her, he was just another exhausted parent trying to survive life. Later that night, Rachel came home late from work. Seth was already on the couch scrolling through his phone. "I made dinner," she said softly. "I already ate," he replied without looking at her. Rachel paused. "You could have told me." No answer. Only silence. That silence used to feel normal. Now it felt heavy. Like something was dying slowly inside their home. That night, Rachel stood in front of the bathroom mirror. She barely recognized herself. Tired eyes. Weak smile. A woman trying too hard to hold everything together. Before we continue, take a second and share your thoughts. If you were Rachel, would you still keep fighting for a marriage that feels like it's already gone? Because Rachel still believed love could fix everything. She just didn't know it was already slipping away. 3 weeks later, Seth told Rachel to meet him at a restaurant downtown. Rachel felt nervous all day. Part of her hoped maybe this was a fresh start. Maybe he wanted to talk. Maybe he missed her. She wore the blue dress he once liked. She fixed her hair carefully. She tried to believe again. But the moment she walked into the restaurant, she felt something was wrong. Seth was already there. And Gabrielle Davin sat beside him smiling. Rachel stopped walking. Her stomach dropped instantly. Seth? He didn't stand up. Sit down. Her hands shook as she sat. For a moment, nobody spoke. Then Seth finally said it. I want a divorce. Rachel blinked. What? I'm done, he said coldly. Gabrielle smirked slightly. Rachel's heart started racing. You're serious? Seth leaned back. At least she can give me a real family. The words hit like a punch. Rachel felt the room spinning. People around them started watching. Whispers growing louder. Rachel lowered her voice. Please don't do this here. But Seth didn't care. You wasted years of my life. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. I tried. You failed. He cut in. The words broke her. A glass slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor. The entire restaurant went silent. Then a voice came from behind her. Enough. A man stood from a nearby table. Tall. Calm. Focused. Rachel turned slowly. It was him. The man from the pharmacy. Zach Greger. He walked toward them without hesitation. Seth frowned. This isn't your business. Zach didn't even look at him first. He looked at Rachel. And that mattered more than anything in that moment. Then he took off his coat and placed it over her shoulders. No woman deserves this. Gabrielle rolled her eyes. This is between us. Zach finally looked at Seth. A real man doesn't destroy someone publicly just because life didn't go his way. Seth stood up angrily. You don't know anything about us. Zach's voice stayed calm. I know cruelty when I see it. The room stayed silent. Rachel couldn't even speak. Then something small happened. Layla, Zach's daughter, walked over and held Rachel's hand. That simple touch almost broke Rachel completely. Outside, rain poured heavily. Rachel tried to give Zach his coat back. He refused. You need it more. Rachel whispered. Why are you helping me? Zach looked at her quietly. Because I know what it feels like to lose everything. A car pulled up. He opened the door. Come with me. Rachel froze. But when she looked back at the restaurant, she saw Seth already smiling again with Gabrielle like she was nothing. Like 8 years meant nothing. Rachel stepped into the car. And her life changed direction in that moment. Before we go deeper, think about this. If you were Rachel, would you have gotten into that car? Zach brought Rachel to a quiet guest house. Warm lights. Soft silence. A place that felt unfamiliar but safe. Rachel stood near the door. I shouldn't be here. You can stay tonight, Zach said. Layla smiled at her. You can sit with me. Rachel felt something crack inside her. Not pain this time. Something softer. Hope. That night, she couldn't sleep. Seth's words repeated in her mind. You failed. Morning came too fast. Rachel tried to leave quietly. But Zach was already in the kitchen. Burning toast. Layla laughing. Dad always burns everything. Rachel laughed before she could stop herself. It was small. But it was real. Days passed. Rachel helped around the house. She cooked. Cleaned. Played with Layla. Slowly, something changed. Layla stopped looking lonely. Zach started smiling more. But outside that house, Rachel's life was falling apart. Divorce papers arrived. The apartment was gone. Her savings were nearly nothing. Then came the video. Someone had recorded the restaurant scene. It was online. Millions had seen it. Rachel sat outside crying after work one evening. She couldn't breathe properly. Zach found her there. They're laughing at me, she said. Zach shook his head. No. They don't know you, Rachel whispered. I don't even know myself anymore, Zach replied. I do. That night, Gabrielle posted engagement photos with Seth. Rachel saw it. And something inside her went completely silent. Not sadness. Just emptiness. She packed a bag that night. Left a note. I don't want to be a burden. She walked out before sunrise. But Layla found the note first. And screamed for her father. Zach found Rachel at a bus station. Rain outside. People moving everywhere. But Rachel looked completely still. Empty suitcase beside her. Layla ran to her instantly. You left me. Rachel broke. I'm sorry. Layla hugged her tightly. I thought you were gone. Zach sat beside her. You didn't ruin anything. Rachel shook her head. I'm broken. Zach corrected her gently. You're hurt. That difference mattered. Rachel froze. Nobody had ever said that before. Layla held her hand. You make me feel safe. Zach added softly. And you make this place feel like home. Rachel started crying again. But this time, it wasn't pain. It was relief. Zach handed her a document. A job offer. Community center manager. Rachel stared at it. Why me? Zach said. Because you understand pain. And then he added something that stayed with her. You don't have to do life alone anymore. Something inside Rachel finally shifted. 3 months later, Rachel's life was different. Not perfect. But peaceful. She worked at the community center. Helped single parents. Listened to stories like her own. Layla followed her everywhere. Laughing more every day. Zach's mother slowly accepted her. Even Seth's world collapsed quietly in the background. Gabrielle left him. One day, Seth came to the center. He saw Rachel. She looks happy, he said. Rachel replied calmly. I am healing. No anger. No tears. Just peace. Seth left quietly. And for the first time, Rachel didn't feel anything when she watched him go. Zach walked beside her. You okay? Rachel nodded. Yes. That night, Layla held both their hands as they walked. And Rachel realized something simple. Family is not always who you start with. Sometimes it's who stays. Rachel Spears once believed her life ended when she was abandoned. She believed infertility made her worthless. She believed love was something she lost forever. But life had another plan. It didn't erase her pain. It transformed it. Zach didn't save her because she was perfect. He saw her because she wasn't. And in that brokenness, something new began. Rachel learned she was not defined by what she couldn't give, but by what she still had inside her. Love, strength, resilience, and the ability to keep going. If this story touched you, take a second to like it. Comment below if you're a single parent, or if you've ever felt abandoned in life. And subscribe to the Redeemed Single Dad for more emotional stories of heartbreak, healing, and second chances. Thank you for watching. And remember this. Sometimes the people who leave your life are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of a better one.